factors in decision making refer to non-financial factors that cannot be easily measured in monetary terms but can significantly influence the success of a business decision. While managers often consider quantitative factors such as costs, revenues, and profits, they must also evaluate qualitative factors such as employee morale, customer satisfaction, product quality, company reputation, ethical consideration, and the environmental impact. These factors are important because they can affect the organization's long-term performance and sustainability. For example, a company may choose a lower-cost supplier to increase profits, but if the supplier provides the poor quality materials, customer satisfaction and the company's reputation may suffer. Therefore, qualitative factors help managers make more informed, balanced, and strategic decisions rather than focusing solely on financial outcomes. A very good day to Dr. Muhammad Hairi and my fellow friends. My name is HAGHASH Analaki KATHIRESAN and my metric number is 313415. Today, I will present the journal article titled Decision Making Processes Used by Malaysian Managers of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises when deciding their participation in government-sponsored training programs by Hana Hamidi, which is published in 2021. I chose this article because it is closely related to our topic, which is qualitative factors in decision making. The article explains how Malaysian SME managers make decisions and what factors influence those decisions. The main purpose of this study was to understand how SME managers decide whether to send their employees to government-sponsored training programs. Although these training programs can help improve employee skills and business performance, participants among SMEs is still quite low. Therefore, the researcher wanted to find out how managers actually make these decisions. To conduct the study, the researcher interviewed 8 participants from SMEs in Malaysia and also carried out group discussion to collect the detailed information. The first major finding is called procedural strategies. Before making a decision, managers usually collect information from different sources such as website, brochures, WhatsApp groups, government agencies, and business networks. After collecting the information, they will process it by asking some questions such as, is this training relevant to my business? Will it benefit my employees? Or is it worth the time and cost? This will show the managers do not make decisions immediately. They first gather information and evaluate whether the training is useful for their business. The second major finding is emotion orientation. The study found that managers are often influenced by emotional and personal factors when making decisions. Many Malaysian SMEs are family-owned businesses, so managers tend to prioritize the long-term success and sustainability of their family business. When evaluating training opportunities, they consider whether the program will help protect and strengthen the business in the future. In addition, some managers rely on gut feelings or intuition that has been developed through years of business experience. Their personal judgment helps them to determine whether a training program is very suitable and beneficial for their organizations. This article is highly relevant to our topic because it highlights several qualitative factors that influence managerial decision making. One important factor is experience, where managers use their past experiences to evaluate training opportunities and make informed decisions. Another factor is intuition, as some managers rely on their personal judgment and gut feelings when selecting training programs. Family values also play a role, especially in family-owned SMEs, where managers consider the long-term continuity and success of the business. In addition, business culture influences how managers view employee development and training. The opinions and recommendations of team members are also taken into account when making the decisions. This article is highly relevant to our topic because it highlights several qualitative factors that influence managerial decision making. One important factor is experience, where managers use their past experiences to evaluate training opportunities and make informed decisions. Another factor is intuition, as some managers rely on their personal judgment and gut feelings when selecting trainee programs. Family values also play a role, especially in family-owned SMEs, where managers consider the long-term continuity and success of the business. In addition, business culture influences how managers view employee development and training. The opinions and recommendations of team members are also taken into account when making the decisions. These factors are considered qualitative because they cannot be easily measured in numbers or the monetary terms. However, they still have a significant impact on managerial decisions. Therefore, the study shows that managers often combine factual information with personal judgment and organizational values before making a final decision. To conclude, this article shows that qualitative factors such as experience, intuition, and family business consideration play an important role in managerial decision making. Managers do not rely only on financial information but also on personal judgment and business values when making decisions. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Good day everyone, I am THEEBAN. Today I am going to talk about dengue prevention behavior in Malaysia. First of all, what are qualitative factors? Qualitative factors are non-financial elements that influence decision making. Unlike cost or profit, they involve human behavior, beliefs and relationships. This article shows how these factors affect dengue prevention efforts in Malaysian communities. Non-financial factors are affecting decisions. Difficult to measure in the numbers, influence behavior and outcomes. For the example, there are a lot of examples such as culture, trust, communication, community attitudes and leadership. Moving on to the background of the article. This study explores why some communities actively participate in dengue prevention while others do not. Researchers interviewed stakeholders and community members to identify important behavior and social factors. Published in BMJ Open 2024, conducted in Malaysia focusing on dengue prevention, uses qualitative research methods, examines community and stakeholders' perspective. Let's move on to the research objective. The study aimed to understand community behavior, identify challenges faced by stakeholders, improve community participation in dengue prevention, explore factors influencing decision making regarding health behavior. The main objective was to understand the reason behind the people's decision to participate or not participate in dengue prevention activities. Nextly, we move on to the qualitative factors. There are three qualitative factors in here. First of all is community awareness. Knowledge about dengue, understanding of risk, awareness of prevention method impact. The better awareness leads to better decision. One important qualitative factor is awareness. When people understand the danger of dengue, know how to prevent it, they are more likely to take action. Nextly is trust and communication. The study found that trust and communication strongly influence decision making. Communities are more likely to follow prevention measures when they trust local authorities and this is clear. Finally, the last qualitative factor is social and cultural influence. People often make decisions based on what their family and community believe. Cultural values and social norms can discourage participation. So, family influence is one of the main influence for the social and cultural influence. Last but not least, the stakeholder challenges. The challenges they faces by stakeholders. Stakeholders identified lack of participation, limited cooperation, communication barriers, and resources contain difficulty sustained engagement. Stakeholders face many challenges when encouraging community participation. Even when sources are available, behavioral and social issues can reduce effectiveness. In conclusion, this article demonstrates that decision making is influenced by more than financial consideration. Qualitative factors such as trust, communication, awareness, and culture play a major role in determining behavior and outcomes.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is NABIL, bin Muhammad AMIRUDDIN, and today I will be presenting a journal article titled Environmental, Social and Governance Factor Impacting Indonesian Investor Decision, and empirical analysis by Tang and Teo, published in 2023. This study examines whether non-financial factor known as ESG factor influence investment decision among Malaysian investors. ESG stands for Environmental, Social and Governance factor. The researchers wanted to determine whether the qualitative factor affect investment decision and whether investment horizon plays a role in this relationship. Next, we will be talking about the next factor, which is the social factor. The researchers found that social factor also have a significant positive influence on investment decision. Investors tend to favor companies that care about employee welfare, workplace safety, human rights, and community development. This indicates that investors value companies that demonstrate social responsibility and maintain a good relationship with their stakeholders. We will be talking about the next factor, which is the social factor. The researchers found that social factor also have a significant positive influence on investment decision. Investors tend to favor companies that care about employee welfare, workplace safety, human rights, and community development. This indicates that investors value companies that demonstrate social responsibility and maintain a good relationship with their stakeholders. Moving on to the third factor, which is governance factor. The study revealed that governance factors significantly influence investment decision as well. Investors place greater trust in companies that practice transparency, accountability, and strong corporate governance. Examples include having independent board members, reliable financial reporting, and ethical management practice. Good governance increases investor confidence and reduces the risk of misconduct within a company. Now, I would like to highlight the most interesting finding from this study. Researchers expected the long-term investor would place greater importance on ESG factor compared to short-term investors. However, the results showed that investment horizon did not significantly influence the relationship between ESG factor and investment decision. This means that both short-term and long-term investors considered ESG factor when making investment decision. In conclusion, the study found that environmental, social, and governance factors all have significant influence on investment decision among Malaysian investors, while investment horizon does not have a significant effect. This article is relevant to qualitative factor in decision making because it demonstrates that decision making do not rely solely on financial information. Non-financial factors such as environmental responsibility, employee welfare, corporate governance can also play an important role in influencing decisions. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good evening everyone. My name is FARHAN, matrix number 313927, and today I will be presenting on qualitative factors in decision making based on article from Service Delivery in Malaysia. First, let's look at the definition of qualitative factors. Qualitative factors are non-numerical factors that influence decisions. They focus on human aspects such as communications, knowledge, stakeholders' needs, and organizational culture. In this presentation, I will discuss several factors that influence effective decision making based on study of public service delivery in Malaysia. Before making any decision, organization needs to consider more than just numbers and statistics. Qualitative factors help decision makers understand people's needs, expectations, and concerns. These factors contribute to better service quality, greater accountability, and stronger public trust. Therefore, qualitative factors are important because they ensure decisions are not only efficient but also beneficial. Let's look at the first qualitative factors, which is information quality. Effective decisions depend on accurate, relevant, complete, and timely information. When there are information gaps or poor data collection, decision makers may struggle to identify the right solution. As a result, decision becomes slower and less effective. Therefore, organizations should ensure that information is reliable and easily accessible to support decision making. Let's move on to the second factor, which is coordination and communication. Public service often involves in multiple departments and agencies working together. Without proper communication, misunderstandings, delays, and conflicts may occur. Effective coordination allows organizations to share information, follow common procedures, and work toward the same goals. This improves efficiency and ensures better service delivery. The third factor is citizen feedback and stakeholders' needs. Decision makers need to understand what people expect from public services. Feedback helps identify weaknesses and areas for improvement. By listening to citizens and stakeholders, organizations can make decisions that are more responsive and customer focused. This leads to higher satisfaction and stronger trust from the public. Let's look at the next factor, which is knowledge and experience. Decision makers often rely on their expertise and lessons learned from previous situations. Organizational knowledge helps evaluate different alternatives and predict possible outcomes. When decisions are based on facts, experience, and learning, the risk of making decisions is reduced. And now, let's look at the final factor, which is adaptability and innovation. Today's environment is constantly changing due to technology advancement and evolving public expectations. Organizations must be flexible and willing to adopt new ideas and technologies. Decision makers who embrace innovation can solve problems more effectively and improve quality of service provided. In conclusion, there are 5 key qualitative factors that influence decision making, which is information quality, coordination and communication, citizen feedback and stakeholders' needs, knowledge and experience, and adaptability and innovation. Each of these factors help decision makers understand the situation more clearly and make better choices. For example, quality information provides a strong foundation for decisions, while good communication and coordination ensure that different parties can work together effectively. At the same time, feedback from citizens and stakeholders helps organizations understand real needs and expectations. Knowledge and experience allow decision makers to learn from past situations, while adaptability and innovation help them respond to changing environment and challenges. Therefore, effective decision making depends not only on numbers and data, but also on human, organizational, and social factors. By considering these qualitative factors, organizations can make more informed decisions, improve service quality, and achieve better outcomes for the people they serve. Thank you. That's all from me.
Assalamualaikum to Dr. Hairi and my fellow friends. My name is Muhammad SYAFIQ bin SUBIS, metric number 314209. Today I will present about quality factors in decision making. To begin with, let me define what is quality factors. Quality factors are the non-financial, non-numerical variables that strongly influence a manager's individual final choice. These include elements like emotional states, personal value, cultural expectation, moral duty, social impact, and cognitive biases. For example, for quality factors is employee moral, customer satisfaction, management's quality, community, and stakeholder support. To analyze this topic, I have reviewed a recent journal article titled A Qualitative Study of Factors that Influence Entrepreneurial Intentions Among Students of Private Higher Education Institutions in Selangor, authored by Khaira Lorishan and Norizan Jaafar, published in 2024. I choose this topic because it's aligned with our topic. I choose this journal because it uses a qualitative approach to examine how non-financial factors such as personal growth, financial consideration, perceived behavior control, and opportunity cost influence decision making. Moving on to the research objective. The primary objective of this study is to investigate the non-financial variables that shape a student entrepreneurial internship from a quality perspective using the theory of planned behavior as the entrepreneurial theory to explore two research questions. What are the main concerns and issues that students consider venturing into entrepreneurship? What are the students' expectations of venturing into entrepreneurship? These contributions of this study are manifold as it will increase people's understanding toward the younger generation in venturing into entrepreneurship. Now, let's dive into core findings of quality factors. We are discussed for 4 main topics. First, personal growth. We are discussed about recognition and reputations. The younger generation want to start their business rather than continue working in the hopes they will become well known in the market. Other than that, family succession planning. Many students come from entrepreneurial household. The view to business owning parent as a role model to run a business. Second topic is financial considerations. We are discussed about financial freedoms. Achieving financial freedoms remains a primary goal for students to increase their confidence to take risks, although starting the company do not guarantee regular income compared to conventional job. For the third topic, we are discussed about perceived behavioral control. Self-actualizations. Entrepreneurship provides students a sense of fulfillment. Self-actualization person can accept themselves and welcomes others to having a clear understanding at their needs. The last part, we are focusing on opportunity cost. We will discuss about business expansions. There are reasons why respondents cannot expand the firms. For example, many businesses are struggling because of the COVID-19 outbreak, which has an impact on the global trade. In conclusion, this study demonstrates that high-level career decisions cannot be fully evaluated through financial spreadsheet alone. This research emphasizes that teaching business theory alone is insufficient. To foster a successful entrepreneurial ecosystem, university must look beyond the textbook and provide structural financial safety nets, practical mentorships, and emotional support system to help students navigate this real-world quantitative challenge. Thank you.